Well, what do we have here? Here is a 2006 Subaru Forester. Only 250,000 miles and everything works and runs great except for head gasket. So we're going to go ahead and replace the head gasket on this thing over the course of the next 20 years of our lives. It's going to start tonight with checking things out under here. So it's a really simple process. All you have to do is access the head gasket, we think it's this one, that is buried underneath all this shit. So you get to take everything off in here. First we're going to go ahead and take the cap off the oil because we're going to drain all of our fluids. Same's going to go for the coolant. All this coolant has to come out. It's overfilled. I don't know who did that. And we're going to go ahead and do that first. Now the other fun part about this is previously all the coolant had drained out. Miraculously disappeared. Checking the dipstick of the oil was this really light brown color and way overfilled, which means all of our coolant went into our oil. Common head gasket symptom. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, it might overfill. Looks like we're good. Good thing it has a small oil capacity. So we'll go ahead, drain the rest of our oil out. We're going to have to take the coolant out of here too, and the coolant reservoir just has a plug in the bottom of it, so that won't be hard. Alright, so the coolant reservoir does not have a plug at the bottom of it. However, it's just held in by two 10mm bolts here. I pulled this hose out of here, and we can just go ahead and take this out now. And a little trick to not losing pieces is just, if you can put them back where they came from, go ahead and do that. That way I won't lose these bolts in a pile of other bolts. I know they go here because they're still attached to the radiator. Speaking of that, radiator is going to have to eventually come out. So we're about to go underneath to uninstall the downpipe, the piece with the catalytic converter in it. So any radiator hoses we see down there, we're going to have to go ahead and detach right away. So this is part of our exhaust here, and it's connected to the engine right up here. So we're going to have to take these bolts out, and then we're going to have to disconnect it from right over here. That way we can remove this piece. It might be connected to the engine up over here as well. And that way we can just drop out this big piece of pipes. Alright, so with the exhaust situation, we are able to loosen up. Let me show you. Where are they at? Is that one? Alright, so there's bolts here. Those came loose really easy. Alright. That's this part going up. There's the bolts down over here. This piece goes up. Those bolts, nice and easy. This thing. This is a circle now. And the rest of the bolts I didn't even try. This is not going to come apart without me breaking shit. So I'm going to leave it intact. And we're just going to back up. And I'm going to show you down there. We're going to take the exhaust, separate it at the donut gasket instead. We're going to drop this whole J-pipe and what is this, the exhaust manifold? I don't know. This whole piece out together. So back here we just have two bolts on here with nuts on the other end. Be careful, these are like spring loaded a little bit. Also there is, where is it at? There's a hanger, oh it's right here. There's this little hanger thing that connects it to like the bottom frame of the body. There's just one bolt there that broke off nice and easy too. So we'll go ahead and detach it from there, and then these bolts around the donut gasket as well. We'll take that whole long pipe off. Alright, these two bolts are out. This is now loose and detached, and we're ready to take off the bolts holding it into the engine now. Alright, and before you let your exhaust fall all the way out, make sure to take these sensors out as well. We almost just snapped those right off. Not that they work anyways. So these sensors come up all the way up here under the hood, kind of right behind the radiator here. They had some rubber thing holding them into a little metal tab down there I plucked out, and then these were kind of a pain, but they unplug there, and then you can just drop those all out. Just leave them attached with your exhaust. Alright, and then here's the whole exhaust out. That's where it was hanging onto the frame. There's those 2 bolts that were way up there. Here's the bolts we weren't able to get off. Detectors, sensors removed. 3 bolts on each of those. Alright, so what I'm going to want to do next, I'm going to take the radiator out of the way here. So we know it's held on here and here. There's some hoses connected everywhere. I don't know what other bolts are holding this thing in, but we're just going to figure it out. Alright, so radiator's out. Got some more space here looking around. Next, I don't know, I guess we take off these belts and the alternator and maybe all this air conditioning stuff attached to it probably. And then hopefully maybe the air intake will come off with that. And then we'll just have the headers left, I think. I don't know. But we're gonna try to take care of this next. Also, another thing we noticed when replacing or taking off the exhaust back here is where's our axle at? Let me find our axle real quick. So here's our drive axle, and it has a this little center support thing. Let me see if I can show you. The support is worn out, so this is just kind of flopping around here whenever this car would drive. So we need while we still have a working axle, we need to get a new one of those supports as well, because having the axle flop around like that ain't good. So yeah, we'll accomplish that eventually as well. But I think this is where we're gonna stop for day 1. I'm gonna have to look into how all this shit's connected before I go fuck around with it, because it looks like we got some AC and all sorts of electrical shit. I don't even know what this is attached to there as well. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff coming up, but we've made some space now, so that's good.